Hi, my name is Erica, and I usually talk to you about saving money and little life hacks, money saving hacks in order for you to live the life you want. I'm going to talk about a different reason about saving money, especially at groceries. I really push shopping the loss leader, shopping the 2-3 day sales because you can save a lot of money that way. And usually those things are listed as very much a discount. So, to the point that the store is really not making a lot of profit off of them. So, I encourage you to buy those. I encourage you to stock up to save yourself money in the future. Another reason I use those, and I encourage other people to use those, is because I fully believe in having food storage. Um, Lightly putting it, I could consider it a prepper. I prefer to just think of it as being prepared for something happening. And I've lived through some things happening, and I really don't want to see them happen again. I don't want to be caught unaware again. I liked having things on hand to have that future security. And one of the things I really harp on is food storage. Food storage isn't hard. Food storage is basically a way to protect yourself from future problems. And they could be just as simple as job loss, not being able to work for 2 weeks or 4 weeks because you got injured. It could be as simple as being stuck home for a week because of a blizzard. It is said that most Americans only have maybe a week's worth of food in their home, and that is usually runs out by the time they go to the grocery store. There's nothing wrong with that, but there is. So I have been through poverty. I have been through job loss. I have been through where the other adult in the home wasn't working and I was only working part time. We got to so bad at one point that we ran out of money, just completely ran out of money. Before that, we were spending $20 a week on groceries for 5 people. And that was roughly about 22 years ago. Now, maybe even sooner. Yeah, about 22 years ago. And it was so hard. Bless my parents. They showed up with groceries when they found out how bad things were and helped us. And fortunately, at the time, my in laws, well, now former in laws, but they were my in laws at the time, also showed up when they found out what was going on. And way more was going on than what I'm saying, but that's not really a huge part of the story right now. My husband at the time wasn't working, and that's neither here nor there now, but I was only bringing home maybe $300 to $400 a week working part time. That wasn't a lot of money back then. It's still not a lot of money now. So by the time we paid electricity and other bills, we were so behind. On top of that, I was pregnant. Makes things a whole lot worse. So after going through that and then going through some more rough times, 2 to 3 years later after that, I learned about food storage. And I actively started practicing food storage about 15 years ago. And I didn't start out with no woo. I started out with like oh, I have a year's worth of food bought right now. I couldn't afford that at all. I started out by shopping the sales. If sugar was on sale for 99 cents or 79 cents at the time, you gotta remember this is 15 years ago, and there was a limit of 4, I bought 4. I might have gone back the next day and bought 4 more if I could. Yeah, pasta, if it was like 49 cents or 79 cents, and I would buy 10 at a time. It was just what we had to do. And having that food stocked up in the house provided me with a ton of security, because there were weeks I could not afford groceries, and I didn't have to worry about it because I had food at home. I got even so far as, since still work in the egg industry, I knew farmers that sold pork and beef, and I could buy a half a pork or a quarter of a beef very reasonably compared to what it is at the grocery store, and stock my freezer that way. And I would plan that around when I got a bonus or a tax refund at work. Now I would safely say at least a month, if not 2 months worth of food storage. At one point in time, I had 6 months, but I moved and got rid of a lot of it, and am now rebuilding it to fit the needs for my partner and I, or my significant other, the guy. I just feel weird calling him a boyfriend. And, we eat a little bit different than I did with my kids. So, I'm rebuilding my food storage. And I still would say we comfortably have a month's worth of food. And that has worked out. I mean, there has been times where he hasn't worked for a couple weeks. I had surgery, and even though I got paid during that time, it wasn't my normal paychecks because I was not working as much overtime as I normally do. But, we made it work. And that's, at the end, being prepared it's easier to make things work when you're prepared. It's a lot harder to struggle during a crisis. And that crisis could be anything. We talked about job loss. We've talked about being stuck home with blizzard. A natural disaster and you can't leave home. The roads are blocked. Think about all the people that went through Hurricane Helene and the things they experienced. You don't want to go through that. And it's nothing. It's nothing to keep a week or two worth of food in your house. And you can go further. You can go further. You can have 3 months. You can have 6 months. You can have a year's worth of food. It depends on what you think is going to happen. But there is no shame in being prepared and being able to take care of yourself. The stigma around being told that you're hoarding food is absolute bullocks, for lack of a better term. You're taking care of your family. At the end of the day, it's your family and yourself that you need to take care of. You might even have to have your parents come and take care of them. That means 2 more mouths to feed. You need to think about you. When people accuse you of things like hoarding food or being selfish. It's simply because they cannot do it or are not willing to do the things they need to do to be prepared to take care of themselves. So they're going to attack you for doing it. It's wrong. It's wrong. We used to take pride for growing food and putting food up and having shelves worth of food in our basements or root cellars in order to feed us through the winter. It's ludicrous. And if you want something else to think about, grocery stores typically only have 3 days worth of food on the shelves. If there is a panic shopping event, like when COVID started and people went crazy, no shame if you did. I'm just saying. You may not be able to get food if you're not first in line. Do you really want to go through that? No. Even anticipating. You say blizzard in Iowa, I guarantee you, the day or two, or even the morning of the blizzard, the grocery stores are gonna be crazy because people think they're gonna be stuck home for weeks at a time. Not usually. I think the most I've been stuck home for a blizzard in almost 30 years has been 3 days. And I'm not saying the big one couldn't happen. Not at all. When I was about 8 years old, we were stuck home for 2 weeks because of an ice storm. Thank God we had a wood stove. Because, that would have made things a lot more uncomfortable. But we were able to survive that event because my parents had food and they had a wood stove. Think about that. Think about what could affect you and how much food would you need to get through that. That's why you need food storage. So you can survive those times intact and be able to walk out on the other side going, whew, that was rough. That could have been way worse. It is no fun to have your little kids go, I'm hungry, and not have anything to feed them. Or you yourself go hungry so your kids can eat. It's not fun. So do yourself a favor and get started in food storage if you're not already. So that is all for today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Whatever floats your boat. And I will talk to you later. Thanks.